Hey guys, Megan Lynn here. Happy Mother's Day. I'm super excited. I'm a single mom. I love Mother's Day. I love flowers, all things that have to do with Mother's Day I just love. So I'll be getting my nails done today and then I'm doing a little bit of work. But I got back on YouTube. I'm sorry I haven't posted in a while, you guys. I feel really bad. I had somebody who asked me if I'm still making videos or what was going on. So I honestly, if any of you are Aquarius out there, we've gone through a lot of shifts in the last couple months. They're ultimately good things, but right now I've moved multiple times and I'm in the process of waiting for my house to be ready. So I'll be moving again in the next month or so. So I just want to say happy Mother's Day to everybody. I'm super excited. All you single moms out there, do something nice for yourself. And I found the most amazing thing. This is canned wine. This is the coolest shit ever. So super excited. So I wanted to talk. I did get a couple requests to talk about some of the darker side stuff, but because it's Mother's Day, I don't feel a pull with my flower vibe and stuff like that to talk really about the darker stuff, but I will do a video later today. I had a specific situation where somebody wanted to talk about nighttime attacks, specifically sexual ones, so I'll talk about that. Just not right now. What I wanted to discuss is, so on my sabbatical, I learned tarot. So I'm now, if anybody wants a tarot reading, I'm pretty good. I've gotten pretty good at it. I actually bought these cards as a joke because they're ridiculous. They're cat tarot cards. And I bought them years ago. And I never played with them, but I realized in my hour-long drive to work each day that I could be learning a lot of things, so I capitalized on that time, kind of learned tarot. So if you guys want a reading, let me know. What I wanted to talk about today was specifically, because we're goddesses, and we are, I wanted to talk more about deities. People are always asking me what kind of guides do you work with? You know, what's your angels? I honestly feel really any guides that you feel pulled to are just more or less an extension of yourself. So they're just aspects maybe you carry more deeply than others, or things that are drawn to you. I feel when a lot of the Doreen virtue kind of shit came out and people were oh, but Michael is around you or whatever, it really wasn't authentic. So I really encourage people to meditate, go deep inside yourself. My guides come to me at different points and they rotate in and out depending on what I need for the time. So I guess I'll get into it. I wrote kind of a list, so if you guys want to can you see that? Research any of these guys, you can. My guides specifically, so I have, they're almost sucky superpowers, I call them. So each one does different things. As far as when I got into healing, things like that, I'll just get into my first one. So the more familiar ones I'll start with. Doreen Virtue came out with all her angel stuff. I honestly feel a lot of those angels, I haven't even heard of half of them, but the one that I started to work with right away, I'll just get into it, is Raphael. Raphael's a healer. What a lot of people I think don't understand about him is he's almost like a brother. He's very lighthearted. He does come around in times of healing. When you need healing, definitely call on him if that's something you need for the time. Raphael, because he's a healer, laughter is the best medicine, and that's what I feel our motto is together, is laughter is the best medicine. So I'm always joking. He has a really dirty sense of humor, which a lot of my guides do, but he's especially funny. So a lot of people who think that these energies are very PC, they're actually not. And Raphael's actually a lot of lighthearted energy that I carry around. If I'm always cracking a joke, and it's kind of exhausting. At first you're wow, Megan's really funny, and I'm no, it doesn't stop. So Raphael's around me a lot for that. I don't do a lot of healing. I do healing work, but I don't really feel the need to call on him because I feel like he's kind of always just kind of a part of me. So I don't really ever call on my guides. So he honestly, he just pops random images into my head if I'm going through something and makes me laugh. That's kind of what he does. My second one is Michael. So y'all are familiar with Michael, the ultimate protector. Literally, I don't call on him for protection anymore, but he tells me when cops are around. That's his literal ability around me. And he literally will just say Michael in my head, and I know that if I'm driving or speeding or something like that, there's a cop. And I call on him. You know, he's mostly like a protector, but he's also kind of the commander of the angels. So I feel like that's why he has some weird connection with military, police, anything like that. Also, he does protect me in that way that cops, for some reason, well, it's not for some reason. If you think about what cops do, and I respect police, cops are around just negative vibes constantly. So if I tune in to most police officers, I'll get some sort of negative vibe, and it's almost that fight or flight response that they have to remain in constantly, and I pick up on that, and I'll just kind of carry it with me. So Michael, that's pretty much his superpower for me. He just lets me know when police are around so I don't get speeding tickets. Kind of funny. The next one, I'm just going through these really quickly because I don't work with these a lot. I work with a lot of Egyptian gods, goddesses. Gabriel specifically. Gabriel and I have a really weird relationship. It's weird, and I don't know what it is. It's not that we just don't get each other. And I've ran into a lot of people who work specifically with Gabriel, and Gabriel is almost like a motherly energy, like a grounding energy. I'm my chart is 50% air, so grounding is not fun for, I know I have to do it, but being down here is not where I like to be. I like to be up in the clouds. So Gabriel's kind of almost like a Debbie Downer to me, but I know that when Gabriel's around, that's a time I need to stop and take notice and ground. So yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie with Michael and Gabriel, and it's the end of the world, and God decides he's going to do the whole Noah's Ark thing again, and Michael says, I'm not going to go along with what God wants. That's kind of more my rebellious energy, and Gabriel's just doing, giving in to whatever the God wants. So it's funny because I'm there it is. But yeah, Gabriel is definitely, if I have him around, I'm kind of but it's kind of a realization. Okay, Megan, you need to ground a little bit. So, also, I work, and I actually was told this a long time ago before I got into this stuff. So I do work with Yeshua, with Jesus, but it's not a working with him. It's more it's a lifestyle choice. So it's just having Christed energy, coming from a good place constantly. It's more like a mindset and a heart center. It's more or less than a guide. My heart is in, the dual fish is Jesus's sign. My heart is in Pisces. So, that's definitely where I come from. Always a place of trying to understand, put myself in other people's shoes, almost to a fault, to where it's gotten me hurt a lot. But the thing about hurting is, makes you very resilient and very strong. So, actually hurting's a beautiful thing to me. So I guess that's Pisces. We're kind of fucked up. It's fucked up. I also have Iris around me. So Iris is a Grecian Roman god. I think it's in both. They're just depicted differently. In Greece, I think it's, who's the messenger of the gods? Hermes? I don't know. I don't really remember. Iris follows me around for some reason. I'm not really sure why. She just does. Messenger of the gods makes sense, as I'm always conduiting messages to people, but I'll hear songs. The name Iris will come up around me a lot when that's around. So yeah, if you guys want to research any of these, the history on a lot of the gods, there's almost too many gods and angels and deities to keep up with, but it's almost like reading reading. They're just very interesting stories. Probably the top two deities that I work with is going to be, so Horus is my number one. Horus has been around me for a very long time. He's the sun, the teacher of, he teaches lessons. He lets you know you're on the right path. I do have a lot of hawks around me. He is kind of, I get kind of like a trickster energy from him, only because he is, he's a very like young energy to me. He's the sun. So normally I'll get a Horus vibe if I know that I'm on the right path. If I know the universe is kind of like messing with me a little bit, I'll usually see a hawk or something. I'm always like, no, screw you, you know, whatever, Horus. But yeah, I always have hawks around me. Also, I communicate, like, there's certain birds that communicate. I think it has to do with like a reptile DNA. They have more communication than other ones. They're also like the smarter birds. But Horus, he's always around me. He's, you know, he's just kind of constantly guiding me, letting me know like that I'm on the right path or that everything's okay. So he's a very like comforting energy. Probably the number one that I was working with for a while is Anubis. So it's weird too because I'm running into a lot of people with priestess energy. So people who, I've done like a past life regression with myself. I didn't even know like really a lot about Anubis. Anubis is the basically the judger of the underworld. So a lot of people who have priestess energy that come from Egyptian backgrounds, or, you know, I feel like most of us do, but I didn't even know. So Anubis is the jackal. Anubis is the, I feel like he's the black sheep of the gods. I feel like he gets a really bad rap. Anubis is the, he's the judger of the underworld. He's also the commander of dark entities. When I say that, it's because at the end of your life, you know, you go through the mummification process, and you know, your heart, what they used to do in Egypt was the priestesses would put your heart on a scale. And so what Anubis does is he judges the heart. If it weighs a certain amount, it means you lived a good life, bad life. You either get to pass on to the grasslands, or you get to go, you know, down to the dark underworld. So he is a judger of hearts. I feel like he has a really bad rap. But he also helped to defeat Set, and I think a lot of people forget that. So if you ever look up like ancient Egyptian mythology, anything like that, Anubis is definitely who I call on to if I'm working with any sort of dark entities. So he's a very quick locator for me. The darker the energy, he can find it faster. So if you guys are having any sort of issues with low-level entities, the thing about Anubis is we can command. So it's weird. It's working with not working with the dark, but you are working with the dark for the light. So I think that a lot of priestess Anubis has a really bad rap, when really he's been a great protector to a lot of people. We can also command, so we can banish. So it's banishing dark entities, things like that. Yeah, Anubis is a badass, quite frankly, and he did help Horus to remain his rightful. It's a lot of mythology, but he helped Horus to defeat Set, and using the army of the underworld. Set was bad news, in case you guys don't know, so I would Google all these stories. He's also a shedder of, he exposes a lot of things. So this is very similar to my belief. Ra was the god of all gods, and Anubis does not think that there's a god of all gods. He believes that we are all God, and that we all have a place, and we all hold a special energy. So yeah, that's just kind of like a quick run through. I got a very specific question I will get into in my next video about a specific attack, and a like childhood trauma and stuff like that. So I'll kind of go into that, but I just wanted to say a couple just of the deities I get into, just so you guys know, like, beyond Doreen Virtue cards, there's so much shit that you guys can find out about different kinds, different energies that could come to you. So definitely do some research. It's a lot of fun. But those are just a couple of mine. So if you guys have any questions, I hope everybody has a great Mother's Day. I'm like super excited. The vibes for April and May have been amazing, and I've been super blessed and abundant. So I'm really, really excited for what May has to hold. But I love you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to comment, drop links to your pages, because I've been following a lot of other people too. And then also, if you guys want private readings, anything like that, feel free to message me at wmegan939@gmail.com. Thanks so much, guys. Have a blessed Mother's Day. Bye.